Your Honor, this first matter for Ms. Munoz is the Spanish interpreter matter.
Okay.
She's one of them.
Well, I think we only have 2 today. Any chance we could get Mr. Duarte Moreno moved up so our interpreter doesn't have to wait so long?
The CO just stepped out. I'll ask him once he gets back with Ms. Munoz. I don't see the public defender just yet.
Okay. Well, we can do Miss Munoz without the public defender. She's a misdemeanor. Mr. Davis, are you ready to go?
Am I wrong? I thought there was no interpreter matter today on today's list, but do you have someone?
Yeah, there's actually 2, and we have Jessica Munoz is first on our list, Pedro, and I'm ready to go with her when you are.
I am ready. Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Jessica Munoz.
So, Miss Munoz, we have an interpreter here for you today. So you might be able to understand what I'm saying in English, but I'm going to ask for you to wait and respond after you hear the interpreter, unless you tell me you don't want the interpreter today.
I don't need it.
You don't need the
I'll stand
interpreter?
by for the other one, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Davis. All right. Okay, Miss Munoz. So you are here today for an initial appearance on a misdemeanor matter. It is a shoplifting warrant that was issued for your arrest out of Pima County Justice Court. You do have the right to remain silent on that offense. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Today is the time to set your conditions of release on this warrant. It does look like the warrant issued back in August of 2024. And actually, I guess that was the offense date. The warrant issued in November of this year. The bond amount on the warrant is $100. I'm showing an address for you on East Rex Street. Is that still a good address for you?
Right now, currently, I'm here at Pima County for a couple of months.
Okay, so you have another felony matter that's going on right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, Ms. Munoz, on this matter is release you today and give you a court date of April 14th at 8:30 in the morning. And that is going to be via video, much like you're doing here today. It'll be, I think it's going to be in front of Judge Cornejo on that date, and that's how we'll get this matter resolved. If for some reason you get out on your felony matter, I'm going to release you on this case, so this isn't going to hold you. So if for some reason you're out before April 14th, you're going to need to make sure that you appear on your own at Justice Court on April 14th at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
If you get released, don't go back to where that shoplifting occurred. That's where the victims are, and you can't have any contact with them, okay?
Okay.
If you fail to appear for your court dates, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
All right, you're all done for today, Ms. Munoz.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, tell me your name.
Your Honor, ¿su nombre, señor?
Oh,
Ricardo.
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 so we did move up. Okay, thanks, Dale.
Oh.
Hey, hang on just a second. Good morning, Mr. Lutz. Number 9.
Good morning, Judge.
So, Mr. Davis, we're going to be able to go on this matter. This is Ricardo Duarte Moreno. He's number 9 on our list. Give me just a second while I sort files.
Espera un momento mientras después es tu archivo, señor.
All right. Tell me your name, sir.
Bien, dígame su nombre, señor.
Ricardo Moreno Duarte.
Ricardo.
Mr. Davis, I think we lost you.
Yeah. Escucha, señor.
Sí.
Can you hear me, Your Honor?
I can hear you now.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Duarte Moreno, you are here today on a couple of different matters. One is a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court for a narcotic drug possession for sale and drug paraphernalia.
Señor, se encuentra aquí por algunas distintas causas. Primeramente, una orden de detención del Tribunal Superior del Condado Pima por acusaciones de tenencia de droga narcótica para la venta y parafernales de droga.
The other matter involves some new charges of possession of a narcotic drug for sale and illegally controlling an enterprise or a conspiracy to do that.
Otra acusación es tenencia de droga peligrosa para la venta y la segunda acusación es conspiración de conducir una empresa ilícita.
This is the time for your initial appearance on those matters.
Esta audiencia está pactada para su comparecencia inicial en esos asuntos.
You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in these matters. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of these proceedings.
Tiene usted derecho a guardar silencio. Cualquier cosa que diga podrá y será en contra suya. Tiene derecho de contratar su propio abogado. Vamos a destinar al abogado y oficio del condado Pima para que le represente y tenemos a un abogado a su lado esta mañana.
I've had the opportunity to review information by pretrial services. That agency tells me a little bit about you and the circumstances of the offense.
He tenido la oportunidad de ver un informe de la Agencia de Servicios previos al juicio. Ese informe me da datos personales suyos y las circunstancias del caso.
Pretrial services has also informed me that at this time the Bureau of Immigration and Custom Enforcement has placed a hold on you.
La Agencia de Servicios previos al juicio me informa que tiene usted una orden de detención en contra suya por el Departamento de Migración y Administración de Aduanas.
What that means is that regardless of what we do for your conditions of release on these two matters today, you're going to be held until you can be seen by ICE.
Lo que significa eso es que no importa lo que decida yo en las condiciones de libertad provisional, no saldrá usted hasta que no tenga oportunidad de verlo usted en la Agencia de Migración y Administración de Aduanas.
I've also reviewed a recommendation for your conditions of release from the Attorney General's office. Mr. Lester, did you have anything you wanted to add? And are you appearing on both this case and the Superior Court warrant or just the new matter?
Just the new matter, Judge. I believe the county attorney's hearing on the other case.
Okay, let's give Mr. Davis a chance to translate that.
El fiscal del estado, el señor Lester, está presente. La juez le pregunta si tiene algo más que comentar y también si le representa al estado en los dos asuntos o solamente el caso nuevo del condado superior. Él dice que solamente el caso nuevo, que piensa que el fiscal del condado tiene el asunto original. Espere.
I see, Mr. Lester, that the Attorney General's office is asking for a $100,000 bond on the new matter, and there is a $25,000 amount on the warrant that was issued back in October of 2022.
Lo que veo yo es que la Fiscalía del Estado está pidiendo $100,000 de fianza en el caso nuevo y que se había emitido una fianza de $25,000 por el condado Pima en el octubre de 2022. Es correcto, dice el señor Lester.
I have reviewed information from the county attorney's office, and they are recommending on the warrant matter that the court impose the $25,000.
También he revisado los datos de la Fiscalía del Condado y veo que ellos también recomiendan la fianza de $25,000 en el caso de la detención por no cumplimiento.
Mr. Lester, I'll start with you first. Do you have anything to add?
Just Judge, that the defendant here was part of an organization that was trafficking in significant quantities of fentanyl. I'll also note that this case has similar charges to the Pima County case, but are separate incidents.
Le pregunta a la jueza al señor Lester si tiene más que comentar y dice él que nota que es miembro del acusado de una organización ilícita que trafica en contrabando y cantidades fuertes de fentanilo. El caso del condado es parecido con las circunstancias también.
Mr. Gant, did you want to be heard further on the request from the county attorney's office?
Morning, Judge. No, I don't have anything to add other than I would note the high amount of drugs in both cases. Thank you.
Thank
El
you.
señor Gant comenta que no tiene más que comentar, excepto que sí nota que son cantidades fuertes de contrabando en los dos casos.
And who do we have from the public defender's office this morning?
Hi, Your Honor. My name is Ariana Adams.
Oh, good morning, Miss Adams.
Good morning.
All
La
right.
señorita Adams, la fiscalía, del defensor público está presente a su lado esta mañana, señor.
Miss Adams, time to hear from you.
Yes, sir. Given that Mr. Duarte Moreno has an ICE hold, we'd ask for a nominal bond. He has no prior felonies. We'd ask for a nominal bond of reduction of the. That's it. Thank you.
Lo que dice ella es que en vista de la orden de detención en contra suya, el Departamento de Migración pide que sea una fianza simbólica, nominal, o que reduzca la fianza que se pide de parte de la Fiscalía.
On the new matter, I am going to impose a $75,000 cash or secured bond.
La causa nueva voy a imponerle fianza de $75,000, ya sea en dinero en efectivo o garantizado por propiedad.
If you do post that bond, you'll be released to pretrial services. Your additional conditions of release will be that you participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms.
Si logra depositar la fianza y salir, pasará usted a la supervisión de la Agencia de Servicios Previos al Juicio y las condiciones incluyen monitoreo, tratamiento que le recomienden y se le prohíbe el consumo de licor, droga o tenencia de armas de fuego.
Your next court date in this matter is going to be April 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's going to be a preliminary hearing.
La próxima comparecencia en ese caso será pactado para el 14 de abril a la 1:30. Es una audiencia preliminar.
That court date may or may not occur, so you need to stay in contact with your attorney because you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates.
Esta audiencia podrá o llevarse a cabo o no, pero usted es responsable por presentarse en cada audiencia que se le pacte, así es que es importante que siga en contacto y comunicación con el asociado que se le asigne.
If you remain in jail, the jail will make sure to transport you to your next court date or have you appear via video, much like you're doing here today.
Si sigue usted detenido, lo trasladarán a la audiencia o se llevará a cabo por video como se hace esta mañana.
If you do post your bond and the ICE hold is lifted, you need to stay in contact with your attorney. If you fail to appear, warrants could issue for your arrest.
Si logra depositar la fianza y resuelve el asunto que tiene pendiente con migración, debe seguir en contacto y comunicación con su licenciado. Al no presentarse, se emite orden de detención de nuevo.
On the other matter, with the warrant out of Pima County Superior Court, I am going to impose a $25,000 cash or secured bond.
En el otro asunto, la orden de detención del condado Pima, la Corte Superior va a imponerle fianza de $25,000 en efectivo o garantizado por propiedad.
Because these cases are in different procedural postures, they are going to be a consecutive bond, so your total bond amount will be $100,000.
Ahora, son dos asuntos distintos con posturas de administración distintas, así es que será una fianza consecutiva, un total de $100,000 en efectivo o asegurado por propiedad.
If you do post the bond in this case and the ICE matter is resolved and you get released to pretrial, you're under the same conditions we talked about before.
y logra depositar la fianza en este caso nuevo y se resuelve el asunto pendiente con migración, las condiciones son iguales a la otra causa.
In this case, your next court date is an arraignment. That's going to happen on April 10th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Su próxima comparecencia en este caso será una lectura de cargos pactado para el día 10 de abril a la 1:30 por la tarde.
If you are still in custody, the jail will make sure you appear via video, much like you're doing here today. But if you do post the bond, you are responsible for appearing at that hearing, and if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest.
Si usted sigue detenido, lo presentarán ante el juez por video y si logra salir y depositar la fianza, es responsabilidad suya presentarse ese día, a esa hora, de otra manera se ordena su detención de nuevo.
You're all done for today, sir.
Es todo por hoy, señor, puede retirarse.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I think that's all our Spanish speakers. Jail, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Your Honor, if we may, can we do North Rock Kaya next?
Yeah.
Is she right here?
Good morning. Tell me your name.
Kaya Northrop.
Miss Northrop, you are here today on a charge involving disorderly conduct. It is a domestic violence offense. It is out of Oro Valley. This is the time for your initial appearance where we set conditions of release. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services in this case. That report tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of this offense. It does look like the victim in this case is your boyfriend, Mr. Goldstein, and pretrial services was not able to contact him regarding his position on your conditions of release. If I release you today, Miss Northrop, do you have somewhere else you can live that is not with Mr. Goldstein? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I release you today, will you promise to show up at a court date that I give you in Oro Valley Court?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to release you on your promise to appear today, Miss Northrop. You are to commit no further acts of domestic violence. You're not to have any contact at this time with the victim, Mr. Goldstein. That means you can't text him, call him, don't go anywhere near where he is living or working. Don't return to the incident location. Do you have belongings there that you need to go get?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I am going to check a box that says you may return one time with a police escort to pick up those belongings. When you get released later today, you're going to get a copy of your appearance order with the release conditions on them that will have that box checked. Take it to a nearby police station in Oro Valley, take it to their station or call 911 and let them know that you have that order. Do not park in front of the victim's house in this case. You need to make sure that if you call 911 and ask them to meet you at the residence, that you're at a different location. Do you understand all those conditions of release?
Yes.
All right, your next court date is going to be May 21st at 10:30, and that's going to be at Oro Valley City Court. You do need to appear at that date and time, and if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What was the date and time?
Going to be May 21st at 10:30. When you get released today, Miss Northrop, the jail's going to give you a copy of the paperwork that's going to have your release conditions, and it'll also have the date and time I just gave you and the address for Oro Valley City Court. Okay, you're all done for today. And are we going back to Mr. Patricio or moving down the list, jail? Hi, tell me your name.
Gregory Patricio.
Mr. Patricio, you are here today on a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court. I understand that you're also being held. Do you have another felony matter or something else going on?
Felony matter? No.
Are you in jail for something else?
Or initially.
Okay. Jail, I'm showing that there is some sort of bond or something else that's holding him. Do you have some other hold on him?
Your Honor, he has a bond on a city court case.
Okay. So you're being held on a Tucson City Court matter. Perhaps that's the fines that you haven't paid. But today I want to make it clear, Mr. Patricio, the only thing we're seeing you on is a warrant out of justice court. And that's for a DV assault case. And it looks like you failed to appear back on August 20th of 2024, and they issued a warrant for your arrest. So that's what you're being seen for today. Hang on. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. We're going to talk about conditions of release today. If you promise to show up at a court date that I give you in the future, I'll release you on this matter. So the only thing holding you is going to be that Tucson City Court matter. Will you do that?
It's not.
All right. I'm releasing you on your promise to appear. Your next court date in Pima County Justice Court is going to be April 22nd at 9:30 in the morning. You're not to commit any acts of domestic violence, and you're to abide by any previously ordered conditions of release in that domestic violence case. Do you understand your conditions of release in this case?
It's not.
Your next court date in Justice Court is going to be April 22nd at 9:30. You do need to appear at that date and time. If you fail to appear, they're going to issue another warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that?
It's not.
All right. So again, you're going to be held on the city court case, but once that's taken care of, this will be resolved. If for some reason you're still in custody on that April 22nd date, the jail should have you appear via video for your justice court matter. All right. And if you fail to appear, do you understand that that warrant will be issued for you again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're all done for today.
All right, thank you.
Good morning. Tell me your name.
David Valenzuela.
Mr. Valenzuela Burrell, you are here today for an initial appearance on multiple matters out of Tucson City Court. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. It looks like you also have something else going on with the jail, some other hold. Jail, what else are you showing for him? It also looks like he has a bond.
Your Honor, he has a felony case that he has a $10,000 bond on.
So, Mr. Valenzuela Burrell, regardless of what we do here today on your Tucson City Court matters, you do have that felony matter that's also going to hold you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Your Tucson City Court matters, there are new charges related to theft and drug paraphernalia. This is also the time for your arraignment on that matter. You are presumed innocent of those charges. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf today. Looks like you have multiple cases out of Tucson City Court as well. I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you today. I'm going to impose a $500 cash bond on these matters. If you do post that bond and get out on your felony case, additional conditions are that you not return to the incident location where the theft or shoplifting occurred. There are victims there and you can't have contact with them. Your next court date for this case for your Tucson City Court matters is going to be April 11th at 1:45. That's going to be a video review hearing. Someone from the public defender's office at the city should be out to talk with you. The video review will be much like you're doing here today. You'll be seen via video. There's going to be a second court date on your paperwork of April 24th at 9 a.m. And that's if you get released on all of these matters. Then you will have to show up at Tucson City Court on your own. If you do fail to appear for your court hearings, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward with these hearings in your absence and even set a trial in your absence if you're not there. If you're convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand your conditions of release if you post your bond?
Hey, how
And
come
do you
nobody told me
understand
you
the
couldn't hear
consequences
me?
for failing
What
to
the
appear, the
what? How
warrants that
dare
will be
you guys?
issued?
Yeah.
All right, you're all done for today.
All right, turn the audio for you guys on there on YT. My apologies, I didn't see that I had the microphone off, but it's on. No, I'm talking about because I got multiple streams going on. I'm running 4 different platforms. I'm running TT, YT, that other streaming platform with the T, and then I'm running another one on TT. So sometimes I forget to turn the audio on and whatnot. So. And if you guys don't like it or if you guys don't like how the screen looks on TT, the screen looks a lot better on YT, if you will. It's full 1080p. Okay, James, I see. Hey, I'm trying to. I got over here. I got 4 phones on me, so that's why my eyes always shifting around because I got multiple screens. I got 2 computer screens. I got 4 phones in front of my face. Then I got the other computer over there that I'm running a separate stream on. Are you Mr. T? You see, I like TT. For the entertainment commentary. I got the commentaries on right now on YT, if you will. Hot Mix Express. Thank you for the like. Highly appreciate that. Why was he in Cubs? I'm assuming that he was probably a threat to himself or to the facility. Adam, thank you for the
Good
follow.
morning.
Highly
Tell me your
appreciate it.
name.
Martin Lopez Martinez.
Mr. Martinez, this is the time for your initial appearance on a manslaughter charge. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing. We're here today to discuss your conditions of release. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report for the court that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of this offense. It does look like you're on felony probation at this time, and that department, adult probation, has placed a hold on you. So regardless of the conditions of release that we impose here today, you are not going to be released until you're seen on your probation matter. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
I also had an opportunity to review the state's recommendation as to your conditions of release today. They are asking for a $250,000 bond with some other conditions that do involve not having any animals in your control or possession if you post bond. Mr. Gant, did you need to be heard further?
Judge, I would just note my bond recommendation is based on the serious and violent nature of the charges. I view the conditions requested as being very important to any release conditions set for him. Thank you.
Ms. Adams, did you want to be heard?
Yes, Judge. Given the probation hold, I'd ask for a nominal bond to be set for Mr. Martinez. He has no prior failures to appear, so I just ask for a reduction of the bond.
I got you.
I am going to impose a $250,000 cash or secured bond today. If you do post that bond, Mr. Martinez, and your probation matter gets resolved, then you'll be on release to pretrial services as well. You're ordered to participate in
What
any
up, Lindsay?
monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not allowed to have any firearms. You're not to have any contact with the victim's family in this case. Do not go anywhere near where they are living or working. You are also ordered to have no animals within your control or
Thank you, my last
possession.
peachy.
Not dogs, not any
Shining.
animals of any kind. Do you understand all those conditions of release?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your next court date is going to be April 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you are going to be responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could be issued for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you remain in custody, Mr. Martinez, the jail will transport you for your next hearing, or you'll appear via video, much like you're doing today. But if you do post bond and get released, it's important you stay in contact with your attorney so that you don't miss your court dates. You're all done for today.
Thank you.
Up next on The Price is Wrong. Let's see what's behind numeral dos, if you will. How is everybody doing today? Where are you guys tapping in from today? If you guys don't mind sharing. Are you coming from the US, if you will? Are you guys coming in from the UK, from Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Utah, Arizona? Ay, que salga desgraciado. Man, you guys are coming in from all over the place. Sheesh. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. See, let's go ahead and que pase el desgraciado. Western North Carolina, Cali, London, Kentucky, Arizona. Thank you for the follow, Jade. Highly appreciate that. It's another good one. Vancouver, Texas.
You've got mail.
Let me see here.
Hey, tell me your name.
James Valenzuela.
Mr. Valenzuela, you're here today for a review hearing. Do you still have matters going on here in Pima County?
I'm not sure. No, I have been released to a halfway house to drug rehabilitation. Rehab.
Did you get additional jail time while probation is looking for rehab for you?
Thank you, Paris.
No, they gave me 90 days to get to 90 days, and if I find a rehab that'll take me, then I can go to the rehab.
Okay. So you're here today for that warrant out of Pinal County. It looks like you're being held on a $500 cash or secured bond on that case. So we're seeing you this morning to kind of check in and see what's going on with your Pima County case. Once you're fully released from the Pima County jail, then Pinal County has the option to come pick you up and take you there on this warrant that is still holding, or you can post that $500 cash or secured bond, and then you're going to have to take care of your Pinal County case. So what I'm going to do for you today is set an additional review hearing for May 5th at 9 a.m. And again, that's just to check in with you here. It sounds like maybe you'll be gone by then, but if for some reason you're not, you'll meet another judge, or it might be me on May 5th as well, and we'll have the same conversation. We're just making sure that you know this Pinal County case is there and we're not losing track of it. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, you're all done for today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sorry, no tortinha. In your dreams, Pedro. In your dreams.
Spotted Bobbit. All right. What kind of case do you guys think we're going to be having up next? Good, headed to the doctor's. I have an appointment. My headphones. May, good morning. What's up? How's it going? Running water. Welcome to You Have a Collect Call from A. And I want to go ahead and thank all of you right now. I want to go ahead and take the opportunity to thank all of you guys, because of you, we just hit the 10,000 subscriber mark. Hopefully, I'm able to make a few dollars, if you will, with the Creative Fund, and we'll see where it goes. You know, thank every one of you.
Hi, tell me your name.
Henry William Warner.
Mr. Warner, you are here today on a charge of domestic violence, interfering with a judicial proceeding.
Wow.
You do have the right to remain silent on that charge. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is the time for your initial appearance where we discuss conditions of release. I'm showing an address for you out in Cortero, Arizona. Is that right?
Cortero, that's my post office box.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a physical address, or is that where you're getting all your mail, is still that post office box?
That's where my mail goes. My physical address is in Marana.
Okay.
Can you do Dallas, Texas? If they stream them? If they stream them, I could check them out.
I've had the opportunity, Mr. Werner, to review some information from pretrial services. They prepare a report for the court telling me a little bit about this case and also a little bit about you as well. It does look like there is another case pending in Pima County Justice Court with the same victim. Ms. Gordon McNabb is the victim in this case as well. Pretrial services was not able to release her. So a couple things. If I release you on this matter, will you promise to show up at Justice Court at a date that I give you in the future?
Yes, ma'am, I promise.
The other thing is you're not going to be allowed to reside or have contact with Ms. Gordon McNabb at this time. Do you have somewhere else that you can reside?
Just in my home.
Is she there with you?
No.
Okay. So I am going to release you on your promise to appear. Your release conditions are that you commit no acts of domestic violence and you are not allowed to have any contact with the victim at this time. A court can change that in the future, but right now you're not going to be allowed to have any contact with her. Do not go anywhere near where she is living or working. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am. She does live across the street from me. Will that cause a problem?
Don't have any contact with her. So you need to do everything you can to avoid her. The only orders the court can impose are on you, and the order is no contact. So even if she initiates contact with you, it's not okay for you to have contact with her. Do you understand?
I need to leave right away.
Exactly. All right. Your next court date in this matter is going to be April 14th at 10:30. That's going to be at Pima County Justice Court. You do need to appear at that date and time. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the conditions of release I've imposed today, Mr. Werner?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear for your hearing, that they'll issue a warrant for you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're all done for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Tenants, yes. Thank you. Take it to your attention. You're going to go back upstairs.
Hi, tell me your name.
David Benitez.
Mr. Benitez, you were here today on a Tucson City Court charge involving interfering with a judicial proceeding. It is a domestic violence offense. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I have had the opportunity to review some information provided by pretrial services. It's a report they prepare from the court that tells me a little bit about you and the circumstances of the offense. The victim in this case is your father, Henry Benitez. They were not able to contact him. So a couple of things, Mr. Benitez. If I release you today, will you promise to show up at a court date that I give you in the future?
Oh, yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And
I sure will.
The other thing is you're not going to be allowed to have any contact with your father until further order of the court. Do you have somewhere else that you can stay, reside?
I have many places. I have also my obligations every day, and my peer support group meeting that I have every Monday.
So, Mr. Benitez,
Yes, ma'am.
the only thing that you need to understand is that you are not to have any contact with your father at all for any reason. Will you?
So you're modifying the restraining order again? It's being modified today, or
no? This is this is a new charge where your dad is listed as the victim, and because
my dad's not the victim here, Your Honor. Listen,
I'm not going to argue with you. This is the information the court has. So you can either agree to not have any contact with your father. I do see that there is an active order of protection still listing your dad, and that you continue to violate that active order protection. So if you don't agree that you're going to stay away from your dad, whatever you think may be going on is not the case. You are not allowed to have any contact with him for any reason. So if you agree to that, I will release you today and give
I
you.
agree. I guess I do agree with that.
Okay.
But there's stipulations too that you have to understand that when I have to meet with his lawyer, you're kind of saying that I cannot meet with his lawyer with him present because it's not that I'm a threat to him. It's the other people who are a threat to him. That's why we're supposed to meet today at his attorney's office, Wes and Watt.
You are not allowed to have any contact with your father. You can have contact with your father's attorney, but you are not allowed to have contact with your father. Do you understand that condition of release?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. I do.
Okay, there are no exceptions allowed. Do you understand that?
I understand what you're saying.
And are you going to abide by that?
I guess I have to be a free man.
You're right, you do. So,
You know, I've been, Your Honor, I've been out of prison for 15 months, and I have not committed one act of felony charge. Now, this misdemeanor that was thrown at me for my sister and sister-in-law, they're the ones that are coming at me with a misdemeanor.
Am I a lawyer?
Benitez, I'm not.
Yes, ma'am.
We're not going to talk about the circumstances of the offense.
Or is he a
okay?
lawyer?
I just want to make sure that you're going to abide by the orders here today. You've told me you have, so I am going to release you on your promise to appear.
Thank you.
Give you another court date in a minute. This is also the time for your arraignment, so you are presumed innocent. I'm going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. As we've discussed, your conditions of release: commit no acts of domestic violence, and you are not allowed to have any contact with your father at all. Do not go anywhere near where he is living or working, or the incident location, or any of the protective places that are on that protective order. Do you understand all those conditions of release, and will you abide by them?
Is this DV? Is this a DV
I
case?
have to,
Should
Your
I
Honor,
flush?
to stay out and be a free man.
You do. Your next court date is going to be May 1st at 9:30. That's going to be in front of Judge Verena at Tucson City Court. If you fail to appear at that date and time, a warrant could be issued for your arrest. That hearing could also go forward in your absence. That hearing and any subsequently set hearings, including the trial, could go forward in your absence. If you're convicted at trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences if you fail to appear?
Damn, thank you, damn.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're all done for today, Mr. Benitez.
Shalom, shalom.
So long,
Thank you.
long. Get out of here.
Well,
You see, I was telling you guys, in Pima County, a lot of freaking DV cases. Can't you stop with the
Hi, tell
flushing?
me your
I
name.
can't hear.
David
What the
Haynes.
what?
Mr. Hain, you are here today for an initial appearance on charges relating to disorderly conduct and criminal damage. These are domestic violence offenses.
Another
You do
one?
have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Did I hear toilet flush?
This is also the time for your arraignment on these matters. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You are presumed innocent. I've had the chance to review some information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report for the court that tells me a little bit about you and the circumstances of the offense. It does look like your mom is the victim of this case. She says that she is fine with you returning home and doesn't object to your release from custody. So,
poor
couple
mom.
things. If I give you a court date in the future, will you promise to show up if I release you today?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
The other condition of your release,
Never.
you're going to be allowed to have contact with your mom, but you're to commit no further acts of domestic violence. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to release you today. Your next court date is going to be April 28th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's going to be with Judge Maldonado at Tucson City Court. When you get released later today, you'll get a copy of your paperwork. It'll have that date and time and also the address for Tucson City Court where you need to be.
Your mic keeps on
If you
unplugging.
fail to appear for your court date, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward with that hearing in your absence and set other hearings in your absence that include a trial. If you're convicted at trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction, you could also lose your right to your appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences if you fail
Yes,
to
Your Honor.
appeal? You're all done.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're all done.
Thank you. Have a good day, Your Honor.
It's you.
Hey, is my audio cutting in and out, or is it the audio from the court? From other streams? Can you guys tell me if my audio is good? Is the court audio is it good also?
Jail, are you showing a probation hold
Okay.
for Ms. Chwape?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Hi, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Elena Wape.
Ms. Wape, you are here today on multiple warrants out of Tucson City Court. This is the time for your initial appearance for those warrants related to criminal trespass and drug paraphernalia. They're on multiple counts in multiple cases. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. As you heard me ask Ms. Wape, the jail before you sat down or as you sat down, it looks like you also have a probation hold on your case. So we're only going to talk about your conditions of release as to the city court matter today. You're going to be held on that probation matter. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I am going to set a $500 cash bond on all of your city court matters. If you do post that bond and you get released on your probation matter, you're not to return to the incident location. That's where the victims are, wherever those criminal trespasses occur. You cannot go back there. Do you understand those conditions of release?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you today. You're going to get 2 different hearing dates. The first is a video review. That's going to be April 11th at 1:45. You're still in custody. You're going to appear via video, much like you're doing here today. The next hearing I'm going to give you is if you post bond and you get released from jail before that video review hearing on April 11th, your next hearing is going to be May 6th at 9 a.m. and you're responsible for appearing at that date and time. If you do fail to appear for those hearings, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're all done.
Mitchell?
Hey, Amanda, thank you for the follow. Highly appreciate that. Next!
Hi, tell me your name.
Terrell Mitchell.
Mr. Mitchell, you are here today for your initial appearance and arraignment on a charge of criminal damage. It is a domestic violence offense. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is also the time for your arraignment on this charge. You are presumed innocent. I am going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Reviewing information provided by pretrial services. It's a report that they prepare for the court that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. If I release you today, Mr. Mitchell, will you promise to appear at a court date that I give you in the future?
Yes.
It does look like your girlfriend is the victim of this case, Miss Tucker, and you are not going to be able to have any contact with her. Do you have somewhere else that you're living? Because you're not going to be allowed to reside with her.
No, I could get like a hotel or something.
Okay. So you can make arrangements to go somewhere else?
Yes.
All right. I am with that going to release you on your promise to appear. You're to commit no acts of domestic violence and you're not to have any contact with Miss Tucker at all. Do not go anywhere near where she is living or working or the incident location. Your next court date is going to be in Tucson City Court. It is going to be April 29th at 1:30 in the afternoon, and that's going to be in front of Judge Millian at Tucson City Court. You do need to appear at that date and time. If you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward with that hearing in your absence, and they could set other hearings in your absence, including a trial. If you get convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction, you could also lose your right to an appeal. Do you understand all those consequences for failing to appear?
Yes, Your Honor.
When you get released later today, you're going to get a copy of the paperwork that has your release conditions, the no contact orders for Miss Tucker, and also the court date and time, along with the address for Tucson City Court. You're all done for today.
Thank you.
Quigley, I go.
Hi, tell me your name.
Michael Quigley.
And Lisa, are you on the line? Hang on, Mr. Quigley. Lisa, are you there? Hang on a second. So, Mr. Quigley, your girlfriend, Lisa, did call in earlier today and say she wanted to be present for this hearing. We thought we had her on the line, but she's being transferred in now. So I'm waiting for her before we start your hearing. Lisa, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We're about
Yes,
to.
can you hear me?
We can, yes. Hang on just a second. We're about to start the hearing. I have some things I need to do with Mr. Quigley, and then I'll get back to you, okay?
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Quigley, this is the time for your initial appearance and arraignment on a criminal damage charge that is a domestic violence offense. Your girlfriend is listed as the victim here. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I've had the opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services in this case, tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. And they also had an opportunity to speak to the victim in this case. This is also the time for your arraignment on this charge. I'm going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. You are presumed innocent. We're here to talk about your conditions of release. If I release you today, Mr. Quigley, will you promise to show up at a court date that I give you in the future?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Lisa, I am inclined to release him today and give him a court date. I do note that pretrial indicated that you were undecided about whether or not you wanted him to return home, and that's fine. He's going to be released today. The issue is whether or not we have him stay away from you for the time being. What would you like to tell the court on his
Yes.
conditions of release?
Yes. So, I mean, obviously my dog did bite him, which is what started all the escalation to the fight. So I really don't feel comfortable with him coming home and the dogs just here by themselves, and even with a cop. Like, I would like to either be here or, you know, on Sunday my sister will be here, but I definitely think that there needs to be some time to cool down, and I would like for them, you know, for it not to just escalate anymore than the situation has.
I'm moving out, so I don't want. I just want to get my stuff and leave. So
Okay, hang on, hang on. This isn't a time for the two of you to talk back and forth. All right. So based on the information provided by Lisa, and it sounds like Mr. Quigley, you're in agreement, you don't want to be residing there, but you're not going to be allowed to have any contact with her. You're not going to be allowed to return to her residence or workplace or go to the incident location. Do you have belongings there that you do need to pick up?
yeah, a lot of them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to check a box that says you may return one time with law enforcement to retrieve your personal belongings. So that means that on the order that you're going to get today when you get released, it does allow you to return one time, but you cannot go there by yourself. You can take the order to a nearby police substation and let them know, or call 911 and stand off somewhere other than in front of the residence where law enforcement will meet you, so you can go to the residence together to collect your belongings. Do you understand all of those conditions of release?
What if I'm like having my stuff moved out of here?
So
I can't get my stuff. I can't go in there and find my stuff. Like that's
no, you can't go in there at all by yourself without law enforcement, period. That's the order.
And my only thing is, if the law enforcement comes, can I at least be aware so that I can remove the dogs from the premises. I just want that, like, because I don't want to have chaos for the cops and for him while he's moving his stuff. He should be able to come in and grab his things and be able to leave in a calm manner, you know?
So I don't know how all of that works, Lisa, and that's going to be out of my control. So all I can say is he can return with law enforcement one time to collect his belongings. I think they do usually check with the homeowner to see if you're there. I don't know if there is a family member or friend. You two are not allowed to have any contact. So you're not calling each other, you're not texting each other. There's no communication about how to get this worked out. I don't know if there is a friend or family member where you can agree upon a mutual time with the third party assisting with that to allow you, Lisa, to get your dog and be gone so that he can come in and get his things with law enforcement there.
Okay.
Is that an option? For
Yeah,
the two
that's
of you?
fine. As long as there's a way that we can arrange that, I'll make that happen.
Mr. Quigley, do you have a third party that you can contact that can help with that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So do you understand all of the conditions of release that I imposed?
Yep.
All right. Your next court date is going to be April 29th at 1:30. That's going to be at Tucson City Court in front of Judge Millian. You do have to appear at that date and time. If you fail to appear at that hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. That hearing and subsequent hearings can also go forward in your absence. They could set a trial in your absence if you fail to appear. And if you're convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also lose your right to an appeal. Do you understand all the consequences for failing to appear? It is a long ways away, I know. Sorry.
So I'm stuck here. That should tell you that's
No, I released you. You're getting out today.
talking about stuck in Tucson.
If you want to talk to City Court about expediting that hearing, that's something that you could try to do. You'll just have to go to Tucson City Court or contact them to see if they can give you an earlier date. But that's the date that they've provided for us today.
Okay.
We're all done for today, Mr. Quigley. Thank you, Lisa, for calling in. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you.
Your Honor, may
All
we
right, guys, I'm back.
waive the reading of the charges for Mr. Clark?
Yes, of course.
Hey, it happened today.
I
Thank
will
you,
ask
guys.
him to take a look at your screen or information that you have in front of you so he can see what they are.
Thank you.
Show. Now
Hi,
we got
tell
the
me your name.
halftime shadow show.
Spencer Clark.
Mr. Clark, you are here today for an initial appearance on a couple of different matters. I am going to have you take a look at the computer screen. There's an attorney sitting next to you so that we can see those charges. We're not going to discuss those openly today.
Okay.
Do you see the charges on the screen?
Yeah.
All right, so those are the charges that you are here for today. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is the time to set your conditions of release on these cases. You do have the right to an attorney in these matters. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office, and you do have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've reviewed information provided, as I said, by pretrial services. It tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. In addition to the new charge, it looks like there's another Pima County Superior Court case that we're here to talk about, CR 2024-3401, where there was a warrant issued and a $2,500 bond amount on that warrant. I've had a chance to review information provided by the state's attorney as to their recommendation on conditions of release. They're asking for a $5,000 bond on the new set of charges, and then also the $2,500 bond on the warrant that was issued for the failing to appear. Mr. Gant, did you need to be heard further?
Thank you.
Mr. Gant?
I'm sorry, Judge. I said no, Your Honor. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I missed that. Okay. Miss Adams.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Clark has only one prior failure to appear in the last 2 years. He was unaware of this court date. We'd ask for a release to pretrial services and allow him to self-report.
So, Mr. Clark, I'm going to first talk about the warrant out of Superior Court. I am going to impose the $2,500 cash or secured bond on that warrant. If you do post that bond, then you'll be released to pretrial services. If you get released, you have to participate in any monitoring or treatment that they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while the case is going on. You're also going to have to report to the Pima County Sheriff's Department Identification Section within 2 working days following release. Your next court date in this matter is going to be your arraignment. That's going to be April 10th at 1:30. You do need to appear at that date and time, or a warrant can issue for your arrest. If you're still in custody on that case, the jail will make sure that you either appear via video or that you're transported for that hearing. Do you understand those conditions of release in your next court date in that matter?
Yes.
On the new matter with the same charges, I'm also going to impose a bond
Same
of
charges.
$2,500 cash or secured. Same conditions of release in that case. If you do post bond, you'll get released to pretrial services. Your next court date for the new set of charges is going to be April 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's going to be a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're going to be responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Again, if you stay in custody, the jail will either transport you or have you appear via video. But if you post your bond and you get out, you do have to make sure you stay in contact with your attorney so you don't miss your future court dates. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear, Mr. Clark?
Yes.
All right, and these are consecutive bonds. Because your cases are in different procedural postures, the court isn't able to do one bond of $2,500. So your total bond is going to be $5,000 for today. You're all done.
All right.
Hey guys, it's definitely been a roller coaster today. I didn't catch his name. My apologies. I would have to go back and play back the video to check what his name is. But for cases like this, they normally don't say what type of crimes it is, especially when it comes to offenses involving women, children, or those type of crimes where it's definitely looked down upon, where people don't take too kindly for those. Hey, 20 Moonstone 10. Thank you. Highly appreciate it. Yup. Thank you. Highly appreciate it. It's definitely been a wild ride today. We finally hit that 10K, and I was struggling. I've been struggling to hit that 10K. It seemed like it took me a few days to hit to get those 300, and then today it just been shooting up today. So, hey, thank you guys once again. I want to go ahead and thank you guys for helping me get to the 10,000 mark. Can't be that bad for 5K. Hey, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. If they didn't say the charges, they're bad. Can we watch the judge, Fletcher, Harris, and sometimes, of course we can. And we see, we don't play with them type of charges straight up. Yup. Nice trim on the foxtail. I got a sharp eye. That's right.
Hi, tell me your name.
Good morning, Alberto Mata.
Or is it Miranda Mata?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Alberto Miranda.
Right. You are here today, Mr. Mata, for an initial appearance on felony charges relating to attempt to commit first-degree murder, burglary in the first degree, and armed robbery. You do have the right to remain silent on these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this case. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You have counsel seated with you for purposes of the proceedings here today. We are here to talk about your conditions of release. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. That agency prepares a report for the court that tells me a little bit about you and the circumstances of the offense. It also tells me that you are currently on felony probation for another matter, and your probation officer has placed a hold on you. So regardless of what we do on conditions of release for this new case, you're going to be held until you can be seen on your probation matter. Do you understand that, Mr. Mata?
Yes, ma'am.
In addition to pretrial services, I've had an opportunity to review the state's recommendation as your conditions of release. They're asking for a $250,000 cash or secured bond. Mr. Gant, I was at $200,000. Did you need to be heard further?
Given what the court's at, no, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Adams, did you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, I would just ask for a nominal bond given the probation hold.
Mr. Mata, I'm going to hold you on a $200,000 cash or secured bond today on this new matter. If you do post that bond, you get your probation matter resolved, then you'd be released to pretrial services. If released to pretrial, you're to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to have any alcohol or illegal drugs. You are not allowed to have any firearms of any kind. You can't while you're on probation, and you're certainly not going to while you have this case. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victims in this case and do not return to the incident location. Do you understand all those conditions of release?
Yes, ma'am.
Your next court date is going to be April 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates, and if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you remain in custody, the jail will transport you to your next hearing. If you do end up posting bond and get released, you do need to stay in contact with your attorney so that you're aware of any changes in the court dates. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
You're all done for today, Mr. Mata.
And for all of you guys that are hitting the subscribe button, highly appreciate you guys. Tipping my hat off to you guys. Wow, he bad. You know what? Normally when they, I'm kind of surprised his bond was kind of low. Normally they go for $1 million, and it's normally cash bond. Let me see. Can you get? We don't have that in the UK. Yeah, you can. You could get bonded out here in the US. The only time you can't get bonded out is if they say, or you got a parole hold or a probation hold. Then that'll prevent you from being able to get out. Or $50,000. Oh wow, they don't in the UK. Crazy.
Hi, tell me your name.
Courts, Scotland, the US courts. Yep.
Julia Blank.
Is your middle name Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Ms. Blank, you are here today on a couple of different interim complaints relating to charges involving intent to facilitate shoplifting, organized retail theft, and another count of intent to facilitate shoplifting. These are felony matters. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in these matters. Today, I'm going to appoint the Legal Defender's Office to represent you. You do have counsel seated with you today for purposes of this hearing. We're here to discuss your conditions of release on these matters. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services in this case. It tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. I've also had an opportunity to review information provided by the state. Their recommendation is a $10,000 bond and release to pretrial if you post that. Mr. Gant, the court is inclined to impose a $5,000 bond concurrent and release to pretrial. Did you want to be heard further?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Adams?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Blank has no prior failures to appear. She's lived in Tucson for 9 years, and this was a nonviolent property crime. We'd ask for release to pretrial services.
Ms. Blank, I'm going to impose a $5,000 cash or secured bond today. If you post that bond, then you'll be released to pretrial services. If you get released to pretrial, you are to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. You are also not allowed to have any contact with the victims in these cases. That means you are not allowed to return to the incident locations. Do you understand your conditions of release?
Yes.
This is going to be a concurrent bond, so the $5,000 bond applies in both of these cases. Your next hearing date for both cases is going to be April 14th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future hearings, and if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes.
So the conditions are the same on both cases, the bond is the same, and your court date is the same. If you remain in custody, the jail will make sure that they transport you or that you appear via video for your next hearing. But if you post your bond, Ms. Blank, you're responsible for staying in contact with your attorney so you're aware of any court date changes. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're all done for today.
It's your turn.
Yeah, exactly. Who's affected with the owner district? Yeah. What's that word shit? And it's a Brady, federal.
Hi, tell me your name.
Tyrone Brady.
Mr. Gant, I see that the state is dismissing this case without prejudice at this time. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Brady, what the state has just told me is that they are dismissing this matter today, and it's not going to go forward at this time. So you're going to be released on this case. It is dismissed without prejudice. So that means the state could, if they wanted to in the future, refile these charges. But for today, you're going to be free to go. All right?
All right.
You're all done. We're all done.
Thanks.
Next.
That's what.
Hi, tell me your name.
Robert Andrew Casper.
Mr. Casper, you are here today for an initial appearance on charges of aggravated shoplifting. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say cannot be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. It is a felony case. Today, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services in this matter. That report tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of this offense. I've also had a chance to review information provided by the state in this case. They are asking for a $10,000 bond. Mr. Gant, I'm at a $5,000 cash or secured bond on this one as well. Did you want to be heard further?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
No, sir. Mr. Casper, not you.
Okay.
Hang on. Mr. Gant, the prosecutor.
I'm sorry, Judge. No, thank you. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. Miss Adams. So Mr. Casper, you have an attorney seated next to you. She's representing you for purposes of these hearings.
Yes, Judge. This is a non-violent property crime. Mr. Casper is a lifelong Arizona resident. He's lived here in Tucson for 20 years.
Just started a full-time job.
He is employed full-time, and he reports to me that he is a caretaker for his aunt and uncle. We'd ask for release to pretrial services.
Hey, is the stream lagging for you guys?
I will tell you, Mr. Casper, there does also appear to be an active warrant out of Casa Grande City Court. It's not an executable case, but that is something that you should know. It's a misdemeanor.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, it's not going to go away. It's going to stay there. So if you drive through,
I know.
you do. So
Uncle though. Sure. Possible. Thank you, Em.
I am going to impose the $5,000 cash or secured bond today. If you do post that bond, Mr. Casper, then you'll be released to pretrial services. If you get released to pretrial, then you have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to have any alcohol or illegal drugs and no firearms while this case is going on. You are not allowed to return to the incident location for this case.
His
Do not go
microphone
back
is
there
bad.
at all. That's where
why
the
you guys couldn't
victims
hear
are,
him.
and you are not allowed to return there. Do you understand all those conditions of release today? Your next court date is going to be April 14th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yeah.
If you post that bond, make sure you stay in contact with your attorney so that you know when the dates change. All right?
Yeah.
You're all done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't hear his microphone sounded highly muffled, and that was on their end, on the defendant's end, because I could hear the judge
Hi,
just
tell me your
fine.
name.
Edric Connor.
Mr. Connor, you are here today for your initial appearance on 3 charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, dangerous instrument. We're here to talk about your conditions of release. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. Today, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have an attorney seated with you for purposes of the hearing today. I've had the opportunity to review information that pretrial services has provided. They prepared a report for the court. That's what I have reviewed. I've also had an opportunity to review information provided by the prosecutor's office in this case. They're asking for a $25,000 bond. Mr. Gant, did you want to be heard further?
Judge, I would just emphasize that a no contact order with the victims. I'm not sure how closely Mr. Connor lives to them, but he should have no contact with them. Thank you.
Ms. Adams, the court is inclined, given the seriousness of the offense, to impose a bond in this case. I do know that he doesn't have any kind of prior criminal history, but the weapons involved in this case and the circumstances of the offense, the court does believe a bond is appropriate. Did you want to be heard?
Your Honor, just to emphasize the lack of criminal history and no failure to appear, and that he's a lifelong Tucson resident, we just asked for release for trial services based on that.
So, Mr. Connor, I'm going to impose a $10,000 cash or secured bond today. If you do post that bond, then you can get released to pretrial services. If you get released to pretrial, you have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You are not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol, no illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. I'm sure the firearms that were involved were taken from you. However, if you have other firearms and you get released, you're to surrender those to law enforcement. Your attorney can help make sure that you do that, but you are not allowed to possess any guns while this case is going on. You're also not allowed to have any contact with the victims in this case and don't return to the incident location. It means you can't go anywhere near where the victims are living or working. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a question about your conditions?
Yes, I live on the same street. And it was self-defense.
So you'll have the opportunity to talk with your attorney about any. I am not putting a feet restriction or anything else on this, but what that means is you may live on the same street. You are to avoid the victims at all cost. Do not have any contact with them. The person that will be in violation of the court order is you if you have contact with the victims. So you're to stay away from them.
What if they have to come towards me?
You are to stay away from the victims.
So, okay.
Okay?
Got it.
It's literally that simple. If they walk towards you, you better walk the other way. You are not to have any contact with the victims in this case.
Got it.
Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Your next court date is going to be April 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
If you do bond out, it's going to be important that you stay in contact with your attorney so that you don't miss any future court dates. You're all done for today.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was double checking the audio. Yeah, the audio is bad on their end as far as the defendants. The judge's audio
Hi,
is
tell
good.
me your name.
And that I have no control over.
Neil Hall.
Mr. Hall, you are here today on a couple of different matters involving drug charges, personal possession charges. And then you're also here on another case that does involve criminal damage. You do have the right to remain silent on these two cases. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney on these cases. They are felonies. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you today, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of these proceedings. We're here to talk about your conditions of release. In reviewing the report that pretrial services prepared for the court, it does look like in your drug case that you may be eligible to participate in a pre-indictment diversion program. It's the STEPS program where the county attorney's office will review your case, and if you're eligible to participate in that program and you agree to participate in substance abuse treatment, they would not go forward with that felony drug charge. Is that something that you're interested in?
Yes, please. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay, so we're going to give you a hearing date for that here in just a minute. Given Mr. Hall's willingness to participate, I do intend to release him to pretrial. Does either party need to be heard further?
Thank you.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Hall, I show an address for you on Hughes Street. Is that still a good address for you?
Yes.
Okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to release you to pretrial services today for these cases. So you'll get released to pretrial. You have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You are not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs.
Can you help me get housing?
I just asked you if you had an address. Do you have a place
I
to
don't
go?
think I don't think my dad will let me back.
Okay. So I'll talk to you about that in just a second. For the criminal damage case, you're not going to be allowed to return to the incident location or have any contact with the victims in that case.
Yes, ma'am.
Hang on a second. All right. So for your drug case, I'm going to give you a hearing date of next week. April 10th at 9 a.m. is going to be your STEPS hearing date. You need to go to Pima County Superior Court on the 3rd floor, and you're going to go to Judge Hampson's courtroom. In that courtroom, you're going to have an opportunity to meet with your attorney from the public defender's office. If you're eligible to participate in substance abuse treatment, you'll review the contract there in court. There's substance abuse treatment providers that are also going to be there in court to sign you up for services. Are we willing to waive time for the preliminary hearing on that case, Ms. Adams?
Yes.
All right. So what I just asked your attorney, sir, is the state has up to 20 days to indict you on the felony drug charges, but because we're going to see if you're eligible to participate in this pre-indictment diversion program, we're going to extend that time out. So 3 different court dates that you have. The most important one is next week, April 10th at 9. That is one where you need to go and show up so that you can get connected to your service providers. The second date that I'm going to give you is going to be on your criminal damage case. And that case has a preliminary hearing date of April 23rd at 1:30. That court date may or may not occur, so it's going to be really important that you stay in contact with your attorney so that you can stay on top of these court dates. The last court date I'm going to give you is May 19th at 1:30, and that's the preliminary hearing for your drug case. They're going to be on different timelines, so you have both of those separate dates for your preliminary hearing. If you get signed up for the diversion program, that May 19th date likely will get extended or not happen at all if you successfully complete. If you do fail to appear for any of your hearings, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand all your conditions of release, Mr. Hall?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear for hearings, that they can issue a warrant for you?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. So now let's talk about the housing situation. When you get released today, you're going to want to make sure that you stop by the pretrial services window so that they know at least where you're going to be. And if you don't know where you're going to be, there is a transition center. It's a trailer right off the jail property. If you go there as soon as you get released, they're open until 5 o'clock tonight. They may be able to help you get situated with housing. They also have substance abuse treatment services that they can connect you with as well. So I don't know if it would be a halfway house situation, if there's residential treatment they can set you up for now. That will help you get started, but go by the transition center and see what they can do to assist you with your housing situation.
Is that the jail?
It's right outside. So when you walk outside the jail, ask them where the transition center is. It's on the property, but it's a little trailer that's kind of right near the jail property. I say on the property. It may actually be just off the jail property, but they'll be able to assist you. And make sure you check in with that pretrial services. Do you have a phone?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Pretrial services can sometimes assist you with a phone. If you participate in the STEPS program, that'll be something that they can talk with you about as well. But it's going to be super important that you find a phone and stay in contact with pretrial services so that you can get the resources that you need. All right.
I'm saying contact with pretrial.
Yep. And your attorney. You're all done for today, sir.
I will say this, that yeah, it is difficult living on your own, but how are you gonna sit there and mistreat the people that are helping you out, your parents? You don't do that. That's definitely not cool. Not cool in my book, and I
Hi,
don't think
tell
it's
me
cool
your
in
name.
anybody's book.
This
Mr. Hernandez, you are here today on felony charges involving domestic violence, aggravated assault, and you have multiple, and I do mean multiple, failures to appear out of Tucson City Court. There's 9 or 10 of them here. So we're gonna have to talk about those as well today. On the felony case, on all the cases, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. On the felony matter, you do have the right to an attorney. Today, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. That report tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense.
Let's make it 11 failure to appears, if you will. Let's go for a record.
I've also had an opportunity to review the state's recommendation as to conditions of release. They are asking for a $10,000 bond on the felony matter. That is the court's inclination, particularly given all of the Tucson City Court failures to appear and the nature of the offenses in this case. Mr. Gant, did you need to be heard further?
Judge, I would just note on my written recommendation, I noted that I didn't have a pretrial services report at that time, and that I might supplement it. Judge, given the information in the pretrial services report, seeing how many of those misdemeanor cases are domestic violence related, as well as the allegations here, I'd actually recommend a $25,000 bond. I understand the court's inclination, but given the information in the pretrial services report, I just wanted to note that. Thank you.
Ms. Adams?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Hernandez has no prior felonies, and the pretrial services report indicates that the victim does not object to his release. We'd ask for release from pretrial services based on that.
So, Mr. Hernandez, I am going to issue a $10,000 cash or secured bond on this case. If you do post that bond on your felony matter, then you'll be released to pretrial services. If you do get released to pretrial services, you are ordered to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not to commit any further acts of domestic violence. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not allowed to have any firearms while this case is going on. If you do have any firearms, you're to surrender those to law enforcement. You're also not going to be allowed to have any contact with the victim in this case. That's your stepfather, Mr. Sanchez. You are not allowed to go anywhere near where he is living or working, or to return to the incident location. Do you understand those conditions of release?
He has no issue with me returning. That's what it sounds like.
No, he does have an issue with you returning. He just didn't object to your release.
Okay.
So you're not going back there. So, and whether or not, hang on, Mr. Hernandez. Here's the thing with that. It doesn't matter if he wants to have contact with you. This court's order is that you are not allowed to have any contact with him. And that applies to you while you're in custody. So if you stay in jail, you may get access to phones, tablets to communicate with people. You can't have any contact with him at all. Do you understand that condition?
Yes.
Right. Your next court date in the felony case is going to be April 14th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you are expected to show up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you stay in custody, the jail will transport you to your next hearing, or you'll appear via video, much like you're doing here today. But if you do end up bonding out, then you're going to have to stay in contact with your attorney in the event that that court date changes. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes.
Now we're going to talk about the multiple city court matters that you have. It looks like all of them are warrants for your arrest relating to obstruction, refusing to provide a name, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, assault, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, assault, criminal trespass, more disorderly conduct, threats and intimidation, criminal damage, more criminal damage, disorderly conduct, and there are domestic violence, assaults, and disorderly conducts and criminal damage charges as well. You have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I am going to impose a $2,500 cash bond on your city court matters. I'm going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. You're to abide by any previously ordered conditions of release in all of those cases. That will include committing no acts of domestic violence, not returning to any of the incident locations, or having contact with the victims. Your next court date on these matters is going to be a video review hearing. That's going to be on April 10th at 1:45 in the afternoon. That's going to be in front of Judge Blue at Tucson City Court. If for some reason you post your bond in this case and you get released on your felony matter, then you're going to have to appear on that date in person. If you do fail to appear, they can issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand your conditions in your city court cases? And because they're in different courts, those are consecutive bonds. So you have the $10,000 bond in the felony case, and then the $2,500 cash only bond in your city court cases. Do you understand that? All right, you're all done for today.
Disgrace, total disgrace. Not only are you living with your parents, you're treating them bad and doing some unspeakable things to them. Not cool at all.
Hi, tell me your name.
Jaco.
Mr. Jaco, you are here today on felony charges involving organized retail theft. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review some information provided by pretrial services. It's a report they prepare for the court that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. I've also had an opportunity to review the state's recommendation as to conditions of release. The state is asking for a $20,000 bond in this case. Mr. Gant?
I don't have anything to add, Judge. I just know there's a high dollar amount of stuff here.
Hey, this
Ms.
guy looks
Adams?
like Lex Luthor.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a nonviolent property
Lex Luthor?
crime. Mr. Jaco has no failures to appear. He's been in Tucson for 39 years, and it appears that his last prior is from about 27 years ago. We'd ask for release of pretrial services.
Dollar Tree? Oh man, that's like really scraping the bottom of the barrel right there. Come on, you gotta at least step it up to Target or Walmart or possibly Circle K. $1.25 items? Really? Damn, the struggle is real out there if you're coming up at a Dollar Tree.
Mr. Jaco, I show an address for you on West Flying Diamond. Is that a good address for you?
Yes.
Right. I am going to impose a bond in this case. It's going to be $5,000 cash or secured. If you post that bond, then you'll be released to pretrial services. If you get released to pretrial services, you're ordered to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. You are not allowed to return to the incident location. That is the safe way in this case. For no reason are you allowed to return there. There are victims there, and you are not allowed to be anywhere near that location. Do you understand your conditions
Hey,
of release?
survivor, don't close your eyes.
Yes.
You might fall asleep.
Your next court date is going to be April 14th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you do post your bond, it's important you stay in contact with your attorney so that you're made aware of any court date changes. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, you're all done for today.
Thank you.
Ay. Why are you doing this to yourself? You're just hurting yourself. My eyes are firmly shut. When they say monitor, are they talking about ankle bracelet? Yeah, I blame you, James,
Vanderbilt?
if you will. Ay. All right, who's coming up next, man?
Hi, tell me your name.
I'm not even surprised
Chad
anymore.
Michael Lunderville.
Mr. Lunderville, you are here today for an initial appearance on multiple felony charges and some misdemeanors involving burglary in the second degree, aggravated DUI, your third DUI, aggravated DUI, driving on a suspended license, and another ag DUI for driving on a suspended license, and a couple misdemeanors involving theft and failing to obey a police officer. This is the time to set your conditions of release on all of these matters. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in the felony matters. Today, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. That agency prepares a report for the court that tells me a little bit about you as well as the circumstances of this offense. I've also had an opportunity to review the state's recommendation. They're asking for a $20,000 bond plus release to pretrial services. Mr. Gant, the court's inclined to impose a $25,000 cash or secured bond. Did you want to be heard further?
No, Judge, thank you.
Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Lunderville doesn't have any failures to appear in the last 2 years. He is a lifelong Tucson resident, and he is employed full-time as a veterinarian. And he indicates to me that his income is used to support his children. We'd ask for release to pretrial services.
And also, Your Honor, my first 2 DUIs were almost 30 years ago, almost 20 years ago. And I had no idea that my license was...
Sir. Okay, so here's the thing. You're going to want to talk to your attorney about all of these things. Today I have to be in a position of assessing many things, including the risk to the community, based on not only what's before me, but the other information I've had an opportunity to review. I have considered the arguments of your attorney as well as state's counsel. I am going to impose a bond today of $25,000 cash or secured. That's going to be a concurrent bond, which means one $25,000 bond for all 3 felony cases that you're here for today. If you do post that bond, you're ordered to participate in any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not allowed to have any firearms while this case is going on. There's a theft charge. You're not allowed to return to the incident location or have any contact with the victim in that particular case. As for your DUI cases, an additional condition of release is that you not drive without a valid license. You do not have a valid license at this time, so you are not permitted to drive. Do you understand all of those conditions of release?
Yes, ma'am.
Your next court date is going to be April 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not happen, but you are responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. If you post your bond, that means you need to stay in contact with your attorney so that they can make you aware of any court date changes. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
If you do remain in custody, then the jail will make sure that you appear for your next hearing, either via video or by bringing you to court. Otherwise, stay in contact with your attorney for those date changes. You're all done for today.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm a multitasker. Just don't tell my wife, because then she's gonna expect me to be multitasking, and I'm always telling her I'm not a multitasker. If you're well, hopefully she's not listening to me, because if she is, it's gonna be a problem. Hey, what's up, Apple Snapple? Let me see. This must be court from last month. Yeah. James, I need you to give you my info so I can get. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just drop me a DM and I'll go ahead and get that out in the mail in the next few days. No snitches in here, if you will. She's probably in the live. She probably is. That she's chicken hockey. Make sure everything's running smoothly and whatnot. Next.
Hi, tell me your name.
Jose Luis Molina.
Mr. Molina, you are here today on a felony charge of third-degree burglary. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. Today, I'm going to appoint the Legal Defender's Office to represent you, and you do have an attorney seated with you for purposes of the proceedings here today. You have multiple cases out of Tucson City Court. It looks like there are 4 or 5 of them here, all warrants for failing to appear for drug paraphernalia and criminal trespass charges. So we're going to talk about your city court cases here in just a minute. It does look like you're also on felony probation. Jail, do you have a hold at this time? Sorry, Jail, if you answered me, I missed it.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So I do note that you are on felony probation at this time as well, Mr. Molina. They have not placed a hold on you today. I've had a chance to review the pretrial services report that's been prepared for me. That's how I know that you're on probation. I've also had a chance to review information provided by the state. The state is asking for a $1,000 bond. I think, Mr. Gant, you said for time credit. I think that you probably thought he was being held on the probation hold. Did you want to be heard further?
Judge, I would guess that probation hold is coming today, given the nature of the conduct here and his failure to appear history at city court. So I would still ask the court to impose some bond, given his failure to appear in city court and his history with that.
Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor. This is a non-violent offense, and he is a lifelong Tucson resident. We'd ask for release of pretrial services.
I am going to impose a $1,000 cash or secured bond today, largely, Mr. Molina, because there are so many failures to appear for you, you just don't go to court when you're told to. If you do post that bond, then you can be released to pretrial services. If you do post bond and get out, you need to contact your probation officer when you do get out. If you get out after 5, you need to make sure that they are contacted tomorrow morning. If you get released to pretrial, you're ordered to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. You're also not allowed to return to the incident location or have any contact with the victims that are there. Do you understand all your conditions of release, Mr. Molina?
Yes.
Your next court date is going to be April 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes.
All right. We also need to talk about your Tucson City Court matters. These things are not going to go away, Mr. Molina. You have to go to Tucson City Court to get them resolved. You're being held on your felony case for now. I'm going to release you on these Tucson City Court matters and give you one more chance to show up. I'm going to give you a court date and you have to go. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. And your next hearing is going to be what's called a non-transport review hearing on June 6th at 9 a.m. So you have some time before you have to show up there. So you're very likely going to be out of custody. You'll have someone from the City Public Defender's Office that you can talk with so you can get these matters resolved. If you don't show up for that hearing, they're going to issue another warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences for failing to appear in that case?
Yes.
You're also not allowed to return to the incident location where the criminal trespass occurred. Don't go back there. That's where the victims are. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right, you're all done for today, Mr. Molina.
Yeah. So so I gotta agree with your comment. Yeah,
So
I'm assuming
every this somehow.
this jail here is probably already at its capacity, so they can't continue taking individuals in. So people that would be deemed low risk,
Maybe go back up a little bit.
which doesn't make any sense to me,
Yeah, go back.
they
a
let
little
go. They either are them, or they give them
bit.
a really low bond, if you will.
You can see right there.
But you guys see, hey, look, there's a dude laid out on the floor right there
Hi, tell me your name.
who's taking a siesta.
Arlo Jr. Munoz Viegas.
So you are here today on a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court for charges involving kidnapping, aggravated assault, impeding the breathing. There's multiple counts at that, and also another kidnapping count. These incidents occurred back in March of this year. There is a $100,000 bond amount on that warrant. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. Today, I'm appointing Jesse Delaney to represent you. You do have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. Their report tells me that you also are on parole or community supervision. So there is a hold that's been placed on you by DOC at this time. That means regardless of what I do on your case here today, you're not going to be released until you get the DOC matter resolved. I've had a chance to review information provided by pretrial services and also the state's recommendation. The state is asking that you be held on the $100,000 bond on the warrant. That is the court's inclination today. Mr. Gant, do you need to be heard further?
Judge, I would just add, I know the court doesn't have an interim complaint here, but in reviewing the facts that we have from the warrant, multiple offense dates here. On the 13th, the victim tried to get him to leave. He pinned her down on the bed and strangled her. On the 14th, the following day, he came back. She asked him to leave, and he fired a shot from a shotgun. And then 2 weeks later, on the 31st, he went back to the house, accused the victim of, quote, sending him back to prison, and strangled her again. Not only does the state believe, but the evidence shows he's a continual risk to the victim, so we're asking for the $100,000.
Ms. Adams?
Your Honor, given the DOC hold, we'd ask for a reduction in the bond and for time credit purposes.
Mr. Munoz Villegas, I am going to impose a $100,000 cash or secured bond on this matter today. That's separate from your DOC hold. If you do manage to post that bond, you will be released to pretrial services. You're going to be ordered to participate in any act. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms. You're to commit no acts of domestic violence. You're also not allowed to have any contact with the victim in this case. If you do get released, you're not allowed to go anywhere near the incident location or anywhere near where she is living or working. That order is going to apply to you while you are in custody at the Pima County Jail as well. You may be given access to phones, tablets, ways to communicate with other people. The order of this court is that you not have any contact with the victim, and you're not allowed to try to do that through third parties. Do you understand all of those conditions of release today?
Yes, ma'am.
Your next court date is going to be April 14th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That date may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you stay in custody, the jail will make sure to transport you to your next hearing, or you'll appear via video. If you do get released, it is your responsibility to stay in contact with your lawyer to make sure that you know of any court date changes to avoid that warrant being issued for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
You're all done for today.
Hey guys, hey, Screech ain't going nowhere. No more Saved by the Bell for him. He's going straight to prison, if you will. So what it means, a DOC hold, it means Department of Corrections hold, which means that he went to prison, he got out of prison, now he has a parole board, a parole hold. So he's not going anywhere, if you will. Screech ain't going nowhere. He got 100. I don't think he has 100 G's. I know I don't got 100 G's, so I ain't going anywhere either.
Hi, tell me your name.
Hi, Jesse Ratliff.
Mr. Ratliff, you were here today on a couple of different matters. The first is a felony case for drug paraphernalia and drugs. Mr. Gant, it looks like the state is moving to dismiss that matter without prejudice today.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Ratliff, what that means is on the felony matter, the state is dismissing this case without prejudice, and it's not going to go forward today. So you're going to be released on that matter. We do have the misdemeanor matter that we do need to talk about. It is a theft and a criminal damage charge. Again, those are misdemeanors. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. In that matter, I am going to release you if you promise me that you'll show up at a court date that I give you in the future in a couple weeks. Will you go to justice court and take care of this?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Your conditions of release are that you do not return to the incident location. That's where the victims are. You cannot go back there. Do you understand that condition?
Yes, I do.
Your next court date is going to be April 14th at 8:30. That's going to be in front of, I think, Judge Cornejo, but you need to go to Pima County Justice Court on that date and time. If you fail to appear for your court date, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequence if you fail to appear?
Yes, I do.
All right, you're all done for today, Mr. Ratliff.
Pinky promise, Your Honor. Jail, the jail's super full. Next on The Price is Wrong, we got Fluffy.
Hi, tell me your name.
Luis Romero.
Mr. Romero, you are here today on a charge of unlawful possession of a narcotic drug. You also have some misdemeanor cases out of Tucson City Court involving domestic violence, disorderly conduct, and domestic violence threats and intimidation. Does look like you are on felony probation as well. Jail, are you showing a hold on him?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Romero, you do have the right to remain silent on these offenses. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you do have an attorney seated with you today for purposes of this hearing. We're going to talk about your conditions of release. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report for the court that tells me a little bit about you as well as the circumstances of the offense. I've also had an opportunity to review information provided by the state in this case. It does look like for the drug possession charge, you may be eligible to participate in the pre-indictment diversion program. If you want to agree to substance abuse treatment, I can give you a court date next week.
Did somebody say
qualify,
cheeseburgers?
Then the state would not
That
go
doesn't
forward
sound
with
right
that
about
felony drug charge.
that
Is
right
that
about
something
now.
that you're interested in?
Yes, please.
All right. With that, I am inclined to release him to pretrial services on that case and order him to contact his probation officer today when he gets released. There's going to be a city court case we need to talk about as well, Mr. Romero. Mr. Gant, is there anything that you want to add?
No, Judge, we have no objection to that.
All right. Ms. Adams, did you need to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Romero, I'm going to release you to pretrial services today for your felony drug charge. I'm going to give you, we call it the STEPS program, and that hearing for you is going to be next week, April 10th at 9 a.m. That's going to be at Pima County Superior Court on the 3rd floor in front of Judge Hampson. On that day and time, you're going to meet with your attorney. You'll have an opportunity to review the contract. If the state says that you're eligible and you agree to participate in the substance abuse treatment program and successfully complete it, they're not going to go forward with this new felony case. It's a great opportunity. There will be treatment providers there in the courtroom that day to get you connected to services. You are ordered to participate in any monitoring or treatment pretrial services directs. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. Are we willing to waive time for the preliminary hearing? Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what I just asked Mr. Romero is normally the state has 20 days to go forward with an indictment in this case if they're going to press charges, but because you may be able to participate in this pre-indictment diversion program, we're going to extend that time out. So again, next week you have to appear for that April 10th hearing at 9, and then the next hearing on this case could be May 19th at 1:30. That's the preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur. A lot of that depends on what happens with the pre-indictment diversion program. But you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates, and if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that? You are also ordered to contact your probation officer today. You're going to get released before 5 today, and you better make sure your probation officer knows what's going on. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we need to talk about your Tucson City Court case. You're here for a domestic violence, threats and intimidation, and disorderly conduct case. It looks like you do not live with the victim, Miss Rodriguez. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
If I release you today, you're not allowed to have any contact with her at all. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So on that case, it's also the time for your arraignment. I am going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You are presumed innocent. I am going to release you on your promise to appear for the Tucson City Court cases, commit no acts of domestic violence, and do not have any contact with Melissa Rodriguez. Don't go anywhere near where she is living or working.
And I do have a question for you.
Okay.
She is having a baby. How would that work?
When's the baby due?
November, I think it is. She's in 3 months.
So right now, you're not allowed to have any contact with her.
Yeah, no, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So your next.
I just wanted to know for my son or daughter.
So this isn't going to be a forever order. This is going to be an order until someone changes it in the future. In reviewing the pretrial services report, she does say that she doesn't reside with you, but she does not want contact with you at this time. She didn't release to you. She doesn't object to you being released. So that means you are not allowed to have any contact with her. Your next court date in this case is going to be April 29th at 1:30. That's going to be in front of Judge Millian at Tucson City Court. So she may change those conditions. Things down the road can change, but for right now, you need to make sure you're abiding by the court's orders. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
If you fail to appear for that hearing on April 29th at 1:30, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward with that hearing in your absence and set subsequent hearings in your absence, including a trial. If the trial gets set and you get convicted and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also lose your right to an appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences for failing to appear for your hearings?
Yes, ma'am, I do understand.
All right, you're all done for today, Mr. Romero.
Thank you so much.
What a piece of work. What a piece of work. Fuera. So he beat the W carrying his child. Yup, it be like that sometimes. It's crazy. Man. Just got to keep it moving. You got to know when to hold them or fold them. Damn, my last name is Romero. Damn it. My apologies to you. Hey, thank you guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Good. Glad she's giving him a chance. Hey, M, thank you. Hey, Jill. Hey, man, hey, I appreciate everybody that's hitting the follow. I highly appreciate you guys. You guys and everybody that's watching and all of that. I appreciate you guys. You guys were able to get us to 10,000 subs.
Hi, tell me your name.
Becky.
Ruben Trujillo.
Mr. Trujillo, you're here today on a charge of prohibited possessor. Class 4 felony. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. Today I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. You have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. That report tells me a little bit about you as well as the circumstances of the offense in this case. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation as to their conditions of release for you. They're asking for a $25,000 bond. Mr. Gant, did you want to be heard further?
I would just note that his prior convictions all appear to involve weapons, so that's the reason for the bond request.
Miss Adams?
Yes.
What?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Trujillo has no prior failures to appear in the last 2 years. He's been a Tucson resident for 42 years. He's employed as an electrician, and his partner reported that she could assume third-party custody of Mr. Trujillo. We'd ask for a release to pretrial services based on these factors.
So, Mr. Trujillo, if I release you to pretrial services today, you are not allowed to possess any firearms, and you're not going to be allowed to have any contact with the victims. Absolutely no guns anywhere near you. Do you understand that?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, no problem. Yes, I don't, yeah, I'm not a gun person. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to release you to pretrial services today on this case. You are ordered to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You are not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs while this case is going on. And as we discussed, you are not allowed to have any firearms at all. If you have any other firearms that are in your possession or where you're going to be living or staying, any firearms need to be surrendered to law enforcement. Your attorney can assist you with that, but you're not permitted to be near them. Your next court date in this case is going to be April 23rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Part of the reason I'm releasing you is because you don't have any failures to appear. So I know that you'll be at court, but it's important that you stay in contact with your attorney because if that date changes and you miss your court dates, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
I do understand.
Okay, you're all done for today.
Thank you.